and after giving the shares of all the other relatives, he has one son, one daughter. And he has 150,000 US dollars remaining. So to the son, he will inherit 100,000 US dollar. And the daughter, she will inherit 50,000 US dollar. Now, when the son inherits 100,000 US dollar, he'll have to look after his wife, his children. Maybe he will spend $80,000 looking after the wife and the children and the other relatives who come under his care. But the woman, when she inherits $50,000, she need not spend a single dollar on anyone. If she wants to do voluntary, it's different. She need not. So I'm asking you a question, would you prefer inheriting $100,000 and spending $80,000 on somebody else, or would you prefer inheriting $50,000 and keeping everything for yourself? Which is better? Which is better? First or second? First or second? Second. MashaAllah. So we are disadvantaged. Imagine if Allah said both gets equal, then we would say this is injustice. You lay shoulder on, you lay burden on a shoulder. We have to look after our wives, after children, maybe our parents, and you give same equal share. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is unjust in the least degree. Surah Nisa chapter verse 40. So that's the reason in Islam, because Allah is just and the financial burden is not laid on the shoulder of the woman inherit half of that of the male counterpart, but yet financially they are more secured. The 17th most common question asked by the non-Muslim regarding Islam is that when Islam is such a logical religion, how do you believe in life after death? How can you prove the existence of life after death? And the reply to this question, I say that if you analyze the Quran, there are 6,236 verses in the Quran. Out of this, more than 1,000 speak about science. And if you put the Quran to the test of science, established science, we come to know hypothetically that 80% of the Quran has been proved to be 100% correct. 20% may go in the ambiguous slot, unknown, neither right, neither wrong, because science hasn't advanced so far to prove every verse of the Quran. Maybe 50 years later, 100 years later, 200 years later, we'll come to know. But my logic says, when 80% of the Quran has been proved to be 100% correct, not even 0.1% wrong, and the balance 20% is ambiguous, neither right, neither wrong. No one can prove even 0.1% wrong. So my logic says, when 80% is 100% correct and proved to be scientifically correct, and 20% is ambiguous, unknown, my logic says that even this 20% will be correct. So when the Quran says there is life after death, it is not a blind belief. It's a logical belief. It's a scientific belief. Today science has an advance to prove there's life after death. Quran says there's life after death. Quran says in Surah Mulk chapter number 6 and verse number 2, Alladhi khalaqal mawta wal hayata. It's Allah who has created death and life to test which of you is good in deeds. That means this life is a test for you. He has created death. First Allah creates death. Then Allah creates life. To test which of you is good in deeds. So this life is a test for us for the akhirah. So Quran says there's life after death. Science hasn't proved it, I agree with you. Science hasn't proved about jinn. Science hasn't proved about angel. So my logic says when 80%